This is part 3 of 3 of an interview with Paul KAYE, the British Consul in Bangkok, newly appointed, joined us on Fabulous 103 FM to answer questions posed by our listeners, many of which he couldn't answer because they're not within his remit, but an awful lot which he could. Fabulous 103 FM, 28 minutes to midday. Our guest in the studio, Paul KAYE. I've already told you who he is, but he's the HM Consul to Bangkok. And Amy, who is she's not what I said she is. She's a very special person. She told you what she did before, didn't she? Which is quite a complicated job. I can't remember what it was.
Well,
marketing and communications or something.
Yeah, communications and marketing. But I suspect that with my hypnotising voice, it just goes over there.
Well, forever now you're going to be known as Paul's bodyguard, so it doesn't really make much difference, does it? We've covered why we don't have a British consulate in Pattaya as best you can.
As best we can, yeah.
As best you can. We do still think that we should have one.
Yeah.
Just like that has been voiced by all the listeners, to be fair.
I mean, I will note that I've come into this job with a really open mind about everything. I've got 4 years here.
So we could end up with
who
one
knows?
before you go.
There's no guarantees, but I'm looking at all sorts of ways of delivering our services to people. So who knows? Yeah.
Another one for you. Please ask why this is Jeff Lever. Please ask why British expats who have paid their taxes all their lives and pay your wages, by the way. He doesn't say that, but I'm just throwing that in.
My dad makes that point every time I see him.
And still pay UK tax while living in Thailand. Why they're not allowed annual old age pension adjustments?
I don't know. I'm not really sorry to come back to this again and again, but it's not something that the FCO would deal with.
You're writing this down, Amy, for marketing, so you can go back and tell them what the questions are.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get the answers to this.
That's a DWP issue, isn't it?
Because I had another one, one as well. It says, I want to claim my pension, they can't find my national insurance number. This is Ron James. I've tried 3 times. Each time they want more information. What can I do? But that's not through you guys either, is it?
No, but I feel for James. I mean, if he drops us a line, maybe we can find the right people for him to talk to.
Is that what you do? Will you point people in the right direction?
Yeah, signposting, yeah. Absolutely.
How do people get in touch with you? You're the communications lady. How do we communicate with you?
So we've got an email address, infobangkok at fco.gov.uk.
Let's do it nice and slowly. Infobangkok.
Info.bangkok at fco.gov.uk.
Okay.
But we also have a Facebook page and a Twitter page, and if you follow us, you can send us a direct message.
Okay, so if you go on Facebook, and what is that? That's for the embassy, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're
British
down
Embassy,
as
Bangkok.
UK in Thailand. So if you type in UK in Thailand, then you'll see our Facebook page.
And you can ask questions that way as well.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Because this is really on a serious basis now. This is what consular service is about, isn't it? A relationship between British people in Thailand and representatives of our country at home. It's knowing what you can do, having a chat with you. At least if you don't know the answer, you can point people in the right direction, call them back if you don't know the answer, kind of thing.
That's absolutely right.
That's what people need. They want to know that there is some, a lot of people want to know there's a little bit of support coming from the home country.
Yeah. I mean, another point for me is that my team, they're all in those jobs because they really want to help people and believe that it's important work. And they will do everything they can to help people. Sometimes we can't, but people should always ask. Yeah.
So it's very, very serious. And it's very, very fair. Anybody can call you. You may not have the answer, but anybody can contact you.
We will do our best to put them in touch with the right people. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes we might say we can't help you, but we'll do our best. Yeah.
Tell me about the nighttime service, because now we haven't got when somebody has a problem and they contact the embassy at night, what happens when you're all gone home?
Right, we have the FCO has a unit called the Global Response Centre, and they are 24 hours.
Where are they?
They are based in London, and they run 24 hours. So if somebody calls us, that would go through, and it's out of hours, that would go through to we have contact centres around the world as well. So initially go through them, and then go to the Global Response Centre. If it's something really urgent, they'll be phoning me or one of my team and saying, you need to go out, this person's in trouble.
Do you have an after-hours team?
It's me and my managers, yeah.
Okay, so if
at any point, 24 hours, oh, absolutely, 24 hours a day, if there's an emergency, we'll get there.
Mr. James is in hospital.
Yeah.
In Nakhon Sawan. Somebody would go and see him.
Well, if Mr. James is in hospital, the first step we would take would be to contact the hospital and see how vulnerable he is. If it's an emergency, we'd get somebody to him as soon as we could.
Okay. Mike's emailed in, how much of a caseload are overstayers now? Are there more than there were before? And what does the embassy consulate actually do for Brits in Thai jails? I think we've covered that, haven't we?
We've yeah. I mean, this is a good question about whether it's more than before. That's an interesting one, because as you know, there was a bit of a spike earlier in the year when there was a purge of visa overstayers. So we were very, very busy for a few weeks. A couple of my team did a really exceptional job to get those people through and deported as quickly as possible. At the moment, I think we have eight.
Oh, that's it. Just eight
in the IDC. Yeah, so it goes up and down week by week.
How many have you got in prisons here?
I'm not sure, but I think it's about. I think it's under sort of 15 to 20.
Only.
What? That's it.
I think so. Yeah. I'd have to check that number for you, but it's not a huge amount.
Of Brits in Thai jails. I thought there was hundreds.
I don't think it's hundreds. No. But I defer to.
I'll tell you what we're going to do though. Going to let you check that. Not because I'm questioning what you're saying, but you might want to just check it.
Well, I don't know.
It's not fair to ask you a question like that.
Well, I'll be upfront with you. I don't know exactly the number, but I can get that for you. Yeah.
Okay. Let's going through this. We've talked about how experienced the team is. Your co-worker, Jeff, been here.
Who you know well?
Yes, I do know him well. Yes. He's always borrowing money off me. No, it's not. No, it's not. He's been here for years now, and he like yourself. He's totally dedicated to what he does. He's covered the whole of the country. He's covered all the crises, and when you've got people like that in your team, I mean that's a credit to any team. But if somebody has a complaint, and this came in from Darren, it says, if I have a complaint, who do I complain to?
Well, he can send it to us.
Yeah, right. That's going to work, isn't it?
And if it's a complaint, we will take it very seriously, and it will go to the feedback team, customer feedback team in London, and they will actually.
We'll get looked into.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they will send it. They will go into a formal process. They'll get in touch with us again. So it goes around the houses a little bit,
right?
But say, right, you need to provide a response to this complaint. I think it's within 20 days normally, but we take that very seriously. If he's not happy with that response, then that gets escalated a level up, and ultimately it can go as far as the ombudsman for consular in the UK if he's not happy with the response that he gets. So there's a formal process, and it's something that we do take very seriously indeed. Okay,
so we have covered that the consul doesn't deal with visas anymore to the UK.
No.
Where you are, we've covered all that, and how to deal with complaints. You're dealing with people who come here, especially tourists, who don't understand. They should, but they don't necessarily understand they're in a foreign country.
That's right.
And there's two problems that have been pointed out in this message from Philip. Why aren't UK laws applied through the embassy? I think that's pretty... If I'm right, your remit is to make sure that a Brit is treated the same as a Thai.
Absolutely right, Tommy.
And
yeah. Well done. You've done your research.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I wanted to catch you out on it, but obviously you knew the answer.
No, yeah, right. I mean, this is one of the core principles of consular work. When somebody's in a prison, and it doesn't have to be Thailand, anywhere, and they say, why can't you get me special treatment? Our response is, our job is to make sure you get the same treatment as the Thais in the same prison as you. If you're getting picked on, if you're getting mistreated or abused, then we'll raise that. But we're not going to go and find special treatment for you. You should be treated the same as everybody around you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair thing, isn't it? That's all.
Well, it's consistent, isn't it? There's logic to it.
The other thing that people don't necessarily understand as tourists when they come here is that this is not a nanny state. There is no NHS. Now, in England, you're born and you die through the NHS, and everything that's done in between, including the gallstones, are removed by the NHS.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily free. If you're working, you pay a stamp, whatever it's called now. But here, you can't use the NHS, and this is a big marketing thing that you guys are dealing with, I believe, is to make people aware that they need to get travel insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to give one piece of advice, or if I had to choose, you asked me right at the start of the interview, what would I like to change? I've now finally found the answer to that question.
Don't know how we've helped him.
It's everybody taking out travel insurance. If everybody did that, we'd be out of a job.
Because you can buy it online. You can buy it in the post office.
Yeah, and it costs, less than 10 quid, I think, now, and you could do it at the airport probably before you go if you're on a short holiday.
There was a plan here in Thailand that as tourists arrived at the airport, if they couldn't show that they got medical insurance, they would be sold it.
Yeah.
that hasn't been put into effect. I thought that was a great idea at the time.
Yeah, that would be a great. That would really help, definitely. The other thing that we were talking about health insurance generally. The other thing that people perhaps aren't aware of, and this is more for the residents, if they go back to the UK after a long time abroad, there's no guarantees that they're entitled to National Health Service either. They have to be assessed in terms of their residency. So that's another risk. Yeah, if they've been abroad for a long time.
So if the guy's lived here for like 6-7 years, he's got something wrong with it. I'll go home and get it done for free.
Yeah,
6 months waiting.
Don't assume that you're going to get that easily.
It's the same with the welfare as well. You can't go. We've just seen that with somebody else. Thought he was going to go back to the UK and sign on and get the dole and a free flat. It doesn't work like that, does it? Not if you're British, anyway.
No. And one thing that we're working on at the moment in the area of health insurance. No, I moved on. I moved on quickly. I think your mic must have been switched off.
Yes,
I didn't hear that comment. But I've got the guys that came down with us yesterday, this morning, talking to some of the hospitals down here about getting more bang for the buck for Brits who have got insurance from the hospitals. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're trying to focus on that and getting a better service for them from sort of medium range hospitals. So that they can get the treatment that they need.
Would you put together a list of medium-range hospitals so that people can... No, seriously, you're in Nakhon nowhere, something happens, and you're looking for a hospital. Now, the first, Pattaya, for example, if something happens to you, they'll put you in a meat wagon and they will take you to the most expensive hospital, obviously, because you're a foreigner.
I've seen that everywhere.
Sure, that's just normal. That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
But if that guy has got a mediocre insurance policy or none... he wants to be in a medium hospital, but he also wants to be in a clean one. Now, we have, what's it called, Pattaya City Hospital, which is a middle hospital. It's a state hospital. It's very good. A list of...
I think that, we do have lists of these kinds of services online.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, medical services is one of them. Funeral directors is normally another one that we have online as well.
They're related, really, aren't they?
Yeah, well, sometimes. Lawyers as well. I know that we have a providers list for lawyers in Thailand. They're not recommendations because we can't recommend places, but they're places that we know enough about that people can make an informed decision.
Because you see a lot of people who have ended up in an expensive hospital and then they've got a huge bill round their neck. And then they go on, what's it called, GoFundMe, and are on Facebook. It's not my fault, I was drunk, I didn't even know what I was doing. And people send them a few quid, but it's not enough to pay the bills.
No, absolutely right. And we can't pay them either. Now, one thing that I've seen since I arrived, and which has really impressed me, is that very occasionally the Thai hospitals will themselves say, you know what, don't worry about it, just go. So very occasionally we've seen Thai authorities waive the bills for our nationals, which is fabulous. But you can't rely on that, and neither should you, because it puts huge pressure on the hospitals themselves.
Dr. Ian, I remember talking to Dr. Ian, who is an Australian doctor, but he's not a doctor anymore, works at the Bangkok Pattaya Hospital, telling me the hundreds of thousands of baht they write off a month, not because they want to, but because people get treatment and then they've got no money and it's not even worth chasing them for.
But that's not on, is it?
No. So travel insurance is a big thing that you're going to be pushing during your tenure here.
Absolutely. We always push that.
We're going to help you do that on Fabulous 103. We're going to push it like crazy because we think it's a good one too, especially in this country where a lot of people come and sow some oats and they have children. And it's usually with a Thai national. And all of a sudden you have these children. And they could be, some of them are dual nationalities because the parents register them at the embassy. What rights does a dual national have?
That was a great presentation of the issue, and I'm going to have to give you a really short answer to that, which is it's not our area.
Okay.
But except for when it comes to consular issues. So when somebody needs help.
Right. This is what I'm getting to. If a half Thai, half British person comes to you for assistance, are you going to be able to offer them assistance over and above the assistance they can get from the Thai side?
Well, you put your finger on it there, exactly.
Put it probably.
You put your foot on it, exactly right. No. If they are a Thai UK national or dual national, then normally we'd expect them to seek support from the Thai authorities.
And the Thais would presumably expect the same because they would consider them to be Thai.
Yes, exactly. And this is a global.
It is a global thing.
Yeah, it's a global issue. Yeah, absolutely. It's been the same in other countries where I've worked as well. If you're a dual national in the country of your other nationality, then we normally can't provide help. That said, if you're, and it comes back to this vulnerability thing again, if you're really vulnerable, then we'll look at that, and if we need to provide help, we will. But normally we would say, sorry, we can't help you. You need to go and get help from your authorities here. Yeah.
Right, okay. What is the procedure, though? Because something I believe you do, unless you're going to tell me you don't do. I'm not quite sure if you do anything, actually.
I know, sorry. Let's just go with we don't do anything.
Okay.
And
somebody wants to get married, you supply the documentation or stamp the paperwork saying that they're divorced and free to get married.
That's right.
They can come and see you for that.
That's right.
So that's a little job that you do.
We do.
Mr. and Mrs. Jones have a baby and the baby is half Thai. They can come to you and register the birth. Can I get a birth certificate from you?
No, I believe you need to do that online.
Online?
But this is one I'll take away, Tommy.
Okay.
I'll check this because it varies from country to country. There are some documentary services here that are different from other places that I've worked in. And I'm still getting to grips with that a little bit.
I was just going to say,
I'll take that with me.
Paul, you've only been here for what, a month?
Just over a month.
Just over a month. So we're not, obviously things like that vary, as you say, from country to country.
Yeah.
It sounds fair to you, but you will come back with an answer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So I had an email in, and I don't think you can necessarily answer it, but it is kind of an interesting one. And if you can't answer it, perhaps you can take it back and get somebody to give us an answer, because it would be something that we could share. Don't worry, I'm going to record it for you.
Well, I've got my pad. I bought this pad specially for today.
I just bought a paper and pencil.
Just let me use my pad.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Makes him look professional.
Yeah, most people have iPads.
Oh, you rumbled
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to go to meetings in London and I'd take a huge pad and there'd be nothing in it, but people thought I was really professional.
Dead posh. Yeah. All right. So this is an interesting question. This is from a Thai lady. Now, I can only tell you that I would guess that she is around 30 from the story that she's told us. I have a family in the UK, my sister and my mum. I'm just going through if I've got any questions on there. She's in Thailand. She says, okay. She has her mother, married an English guy, moved to England, mother's there legally, and she has sisters there who are living there. She had a permanent right of abode, the stamp that you get in your passport that says you can live in England forever.
The indefinite leave to remain.
That's the one, indefinite, I beg your pardon, yes, the indefinite, which means that you can work and you can get a social security number.
Okay.
I believe. Are we confirming that?
We're not, it's Home Office, I'm afraid. I don't know.
No? Because she wants to know whether she can go back and live in England. She moved away 20 years ago, came over here, had children. Now she wants to go back to England, wants to apply.
I think the easiest way she can get that information is to look at gov.uk. Because I know that...
Just gov.uk?
Well, www.gov.uk, yeah, it's very easy to get into.
Okay. Because I found out with... I'm not allowed to call her a half-breed anymore,
Your dual national.
My dual national sprog. After years of her having an indefinite leave to remain stamp in her passport, which is American passport, yank, I found out...
So your yank sprog half-breed.
Half-breed didn't need to go through all this.
So touching, isn't it?
It's not like I care about her, is it?
You want to hear the things that she says about him?
Yeah. Then we discovered that actually, because her father is English, allegedly, she can just apply for a passport because she's got a perfect right to one. You just fill in the form. She's entitled to get one. Yeah. And I got some help through some people that you work with who just confirmed that for me, because we couldn't believe that you could do that. So if somebody is born here or born anywhere and their father is English, they have a right to a UK passport.
I would advise people, it's a really complex area.
Where would you get the information from?
Well, I would start with gov.uk, and I know that there's some very good information there on ILR, because my wife got ILR before she got her British nationality as well, so she's been through the same process.
You married a foreigner as well, yeah.
I married a foreigner too. Yeah.
Nobody wants to marry a Brit, do they?
Hey, oi.
What are you going to... That's the hardest question we've had today.
Oh, dear. Paul, you've been a fantastic guest. Thank you so much for joining us
it's been a real
today.
pleasure to be here. It really has.
Honestly, you've answered all our questions, and the ones that you couldn't answer, to be fair, and there was a lot, and that isn't your fault. It's because it's just not within your remit to do so.
Most of them. There's a couple of things that I've written down on my little pad just waving that again.
Right.
I'll take away. I'll get answers to that.
That
bring
would be
it back.
good, and we can share it on the show later on as an update.
Yeah.
But thank you. I'd really like to just really close the show by reminding our listeners this morning that we've met Paul KAYE. Paul KAYE is the new consul in Bangkok. He's running the consulate in Bangkok and the consulates, the little
Whole of Thailand.
little satellite ones.
That's
around
right. The
whole of
honorary
Thailand.
consul. Yeah.
Obviously, a very approachable man, proper bloke, not somebody that's a little bit stuck up-ish. We were expecting the
Posh. Give me a cup of tea.
Yes, you can't even say it. You're northern.
I didn't get any
Her
tea.
Majesty's Consul. Yes, I am. Please address me as Her Majesty's Consul. And we thought you were going to come with bodyguards. We're disappointed.
Well, we got Amy.
Yeah. She scares me, I'll tell you.
I've got a posh accent as well.
Oh, God, she's doing it again.
Hypnotising everyone.
People are going to write in and say, can you get her on the show more often? Can she do her own show and stuff like that? Which she can, by the way. Thank you so much for being with us. And anybody who wants to get in touch with Paul and his team, all you have to do is, the easiest way is to go on Facebook and simply search for Amy.
UK in Thailand, is it?
Is your name Amy?
Oh.
I was just helping out.
She just stole my thunder. There we go.
Just go on Facebook and put UK in Thailand.
UK in Thailand, yes.
And people can write to you through Facebook. And
Facebook and Twitter. So UK in Thailand, Facebook and Twitter, they can direct message us.
Brilliant. And they'll get a reply.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Always.
I think this is a move forward. We've had moves backwards, to be fair, which we all consider to have been backwards when we closed our little consulate office here, what we kind of liked, even though it didn't have any toilets or running water. That was a negative, to be fair, for a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Things seem to be on the up, and a nice team. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Amy, thank you for joining us as well. You're going to come back and see us?
Yeah, definitely.
You say wait till he gets off air. It would be cool if you would come back and give us updates on a regular basis. Thank you very much indeed. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
That was part 3 of an interview with Paul KAYE, the British consul in Bangkok. If you'd like to catch parts 1 and 2, visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/fabulous103.